It is now 6:32 and we call this meeting to order. Commissioner Pryor, would you give the invocation, please?
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Our Father, our God, our Lord, we come to you, Lord, as humble as we know how, Lord. First of all, thanking you for all the many blessings that you have stored upon us, O Lord, keeping us in your keeping care. And now, Lord, we just ask you we're coming to the midst right now, Lord. Remove self out of the way here for our town of Sharpsburg, O Lord. Let us make the right decision. Let us make the right decisions, O Lord, and we know we will do just that when you are involved. And we ask you just come into the midst right now, Lord. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Thank God for Almighty Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Mayor Robert Williams.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Becky Humphrey.
Here.
Commissioner Randall Colley.
Here.
Commissioner Mary Jackson. Here. Commissioner David Prime.
Here.
Commissioner Beverly Davis.
Here.
Town Attorney Brian Friedgen.
Here. Presentation tonight.
Yes,
The next thing will be departmental reports.
Good evening. The financial reports for the month of October, sales and use taxes paid out were $14,973. Gross sales receipts were $216,580 for the month of September. The Duke coal ash recovery expense that to date for up through October of this year is $111,200. Attached is the statement of revenue expenditures for your review. Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Amen.
Departmental report for October 2018. I'll start with the electric department. We installed the new meter at the substation. We had to put in a whole new meter base, new meter, and this one communicates with NCE like all the time, and it gives a constant reading on it. We changed a damaged pole and meter base from the storm at Brightleaf Motel. Installed 20 radio read meters, put up the Christmas decorations, and changed 30 LED lights. That's a mixture between street lights and area lights in people's backyards, stuff like that. Any questions for electric? Okay. Water and sewer, we installed 8 radio read meters, fixed 3 water leaks, had 6 sewer stop ups, because this time of the year when the weather changes, we tend to get a few more stop ups than normal because of temperature changes and, grease and stuff like that hardens up, and it, we could tend to get a few more stop ups. Fixed 4 sewer clean outs, flushed all the dead end hydrants, flushed 840 feet of sewer main, and we started pressure testing hydrants for the annual report. We test, and we pressure test all the hydrants in town once a year, It helps with the insurance companies, you know, the fire department does it too, but both of us have a record of it. It helps the insurance with people's homes in town. Any questions for water and sewer?
Yeah, Brian, I mean, I'm not a water, sewer, electric man. Can you explain to me and the citizens, what is a radio read meter?
Okay, the radio read meters, it's a new type of meter that everyone's going to. What we do is we install this meter, and every month we ride around with a laptop and it reads the meter for us. It's very good because if you, like I say, a water meter, if you got a leak, if you got a hanging toilet, and a lot of people don't know it until it's late, you know, because a lot of times it'll do it in the middle of the night and you don't know it, you know. Well, this meter here, we can look back from 1 o'clock in the morning to 7:30 in the morning and find out how many times that meter turned to fill that toilet up, if it's a hanging commode or something like that, or if the meter's turning constantly, you ain't gonna see it but once a month. So this setup here, anytime you get a meter that's constantly turning, it'll let us know instead of going out there once a month to read a meter, then you find it. So it actually helps the citizens out because we can let them know ahead of time, hey, you had, you know, your meter was turning 3 days last week from this time to this time. You might want to check your toilets, you know, or something like that, you know, because if it's a toilet leaking, it'll start and stop, you know, it's not constant. So that way we can let them know, because, you know, a lot of times they don't know if it's a toilet, because a lot of times you don't pay attention to it. You know, you go to flush your toilet and you walk away. Well, in the middle of the night, it might come on off 7, 8, 10 times, you know, and it'll make the bill go up. Well, this
So
radio,
is this a goal that all the houses in Sharpsburg?
yes, sir.
Make?
Right now, anytime we have to change the meter out or put a new meter in, that's where we go. We don't even buy the old meters anymore.
Okay.
Same thing with electric.
Okay. And then so when you're doing electric meters, you can ride by with the laptop and still see what's.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
And it helps out, the electric helps out a lot too, because if you got an air conditioning unit that the motor's getting old or something like that, it takes more power to turn that motor. So it'll make your bill go up, and especially in the summertime when it's used a lot more. So that radio read meter, we can go back and say, look, last month you didn't use this many kilowatts. You might want to have somebody check out your air conditioning unit, or your refrigerator same way. Your refrigerator do the same thing. If the motor gets old and it takes more power to turn that refrigerator motor, you know, it'll naturally make the bill go up. So it helps us pinpoint, help the citizens out.
That's
As far
good.
as-
So are y'all using this when we got complaint about
Yes, sir.
people's light bill? They saying I didn't use this much this month, but why was it like, so y'all can put that on there, that new meter on there and okay, and show them, okay.
Yeah. It really works out best with water meters.
Okay.
Because, you know, like I said, I can pull up every day of that month, the whole time, you know, 24 hours, you know, anytime during the day. And I can check.
Sorry to interrupt you, I have a question now. That's only on the ones that have a meter.
Yeah,
You
only,
can't go install a meter if they complain and look back.
no,
It's only if
only if it already
it
has
has
the
the
meter.
meter. But if someone really was having a problem, then maybe you could switch out a meter and then forward, you could track it and
Exactly.
see what's going on.
And a lot of times, you know, when the meter reader's out and they're having an issue reading the meter, like seeing the numbers real good, and the meter's already been in there for 10 years, because those old meters, a regular meter, the lifespan's 10 to 15 years. So, you know, if they're having trouble reading the meter, we'll go ahead and change it out, and we put radio read meters in place of them now.
Thank you.
We're talking about water and sewer. I thought just came to my mind that with Surf Line, we getting any type of report from them saying how many claims they had, or is anyone updating us on what's going on?
Yes, we get a report every time a claim is made, how much Servline's gonna pay and how much the customer's responsible for. Every time a claim is made, they email it to us.
All right.
Streets and sanitation, we've, of course, been cutting grass and cutting the ditches. Helping out with the Christmas decorations, they help, the electric department out a whole lot, with the decorations and stuff like that. Picking up street trash and a lot of yard debris this last couple months, we've had a lot of yard debris out there. And, they're just doing their regular thing, cutting grass, picking up trash, stuff like that, so staying busy.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Back at the water and sewer, if that was what was wrong, over behind, the first cul-de-sac off of Kentucky Court, did that spot there, is it one
Scott
of them
Court.
you got fixed? Because I know there was like cones there for the
Yeah, that was,
cul-de-sac.
the main runs right up in that cul-de-sac and it stops at dead end right there. Well, when you drive in there, the two houses on the left, one of them, the service line feeding their meter had sprung a leak. That had a pinhole in it, and that's what that was.
Okay.
And that was before the meter, so it didn't go on the customer.
Okay,
But that's what that was.
okay, thank you.
And everyone's been helping with the preparations for the parade. Everything's going normal, everything's going as scheduled. Everything's looking good right now so far. We've already got a couple bands that signed up. Southwest Edge Company.
Wow.
They actually signed up, and we haven't had them in years. So I think we've got, 2 bands, Tracy,
Yes.
so far? Plus the ones that normally sign up, so we should be good on the bands this year. It ought to look real good.
Do we know how many participants we're gonna have?
Yeah, they're still coming in.
They're still coming?
They, probably next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is when a lot of them are gonna come flooding in. They always wait till the last minute,
I was told, and I guess I'd like to ask this question here about the Christmas parade, because I haven't seen one of the entry forms. But one of the citizens here, had diligently been in the parade, and, he said that, he was told that there will not be any horses in the parade this year.
Yeah.
Is
We
there-
had, one of the reasons is, last year we had one horse that just about got away from the rider and it was heading right towards the crowd. And it's just,
That's 2 years in a row.
yeah, we had it happen the year before that too.
Same horse?
Yeah, and also they're not cleaning up after the horses.
Yeah.
We've had incidents where they've stopped on the parade route, let strangers get up on the horse. They wanted up on the horses with them, rearing them back and forth. So we just made the decision that the safety of our town people really was
Yeah.
more important than them being in there. They're more than welcome to trailer the horses and bring them in, but unfortunately, much like the gas-powered vehicles that used to do the wheelies through and everything, so we had to stop that. It's, of great concern for the citizens with the horses.
So no horses at all, no shrouders, they can't ride, no horses.
No horses at all.
Okay. I wanna make sure I tell him. And the one that, I'm sure he would want you all to know he was concerned about it was, Mr. Staten.
Cow.
Yeah, because he was thinking more on the detail of that. One year, it was where, some of the guys, it wasn't his club, that, they had an issue with the horses, but it was where some of them wondered from the parade. They went over in the community, and what they did, the horse did some dropping, and the young lady notified the police. And I think at the time Chief Hunt was here, and Calvin immediately got in his truck and went over to where the dumping were and got it up.
Yeah.
So that's what when he called me on Saturday, he was asking me about it. I said, I haven't heard anything about the parade. I can't answer that question. I said, but you need to be here tonight to address that. But I think he had death in the family, and I told him that I would ask to find out to see why. So now I can give him an answer as to why horses would not be permitted in the
He's
parade.
welcome to trailer it.
Because the last 2 years, Calvin always rides behind
He
his
did.
club in his golf cart with a bucket. He always gets up whatever droppings, you know, they did a good job last year, you know.
And that's
But
why
but there was other clubs that ain't so responsible, you know.
right, and that's why he was concerned. He didn't know, he thought that was the reason why.
Oh, no.
But, everybody don't know. It's like I didn't know that we had a horse that was acting crazy, and it was the same horse 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
So-
it was real bad last year. I mean, it from me to
He
that
really
table
lost
to the children,
control.
yeah. But yeah, Calvin.
And it was
they
a hard
always did
decision
good,
to make,
you know.
but
Yeah. But yeah, everything's going according to plan. I think we're gonna be good. You know, I'm gonna have a meeting with the police department, about the, setting up, we're gonna set barricades up that morning. We'll be here first thing that morning, set all the barricades up, normal stuff like we do every year. So everything's looking good. Part of the parade.
The new Christmas decorations look good too.
Yeah, they do. They look real good. Yeah. And we got, last year we only put up 2 banners. This year we got 4 banners. We got all 4 ways covered
That's
this
good.
year.
You got one over here by the Stop and Shop.
Yes, sir. And we got one down here in 301. We couldn't hang that one because the lines that are crossing are telephone and primary, and we can't hang anything from primary. If it was secondary, we could. But, so we put some 4x4s in the medium, and
I don't want it to be.
yeah,
I hope we check with DMV.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we learned our lesson on that as far as crossing 301. Yeah.
Commissioner
Yeah.
Pryor, I believe Mr. Hunt had something he wanted.
Yeah, who's on the Christmas committee? Why nobody here other than the board to talk about it?
to talk about what?
The Christmas parade. I mean, the sheriff, whoever you got head of the committee, y'all commissioners, y'all shouldn't have input. Why is no representative from the Christmas committee to talk about it?
To talk about what, sir?
The horses, any questions concerning, cause y'all can't be making decisions on a committee, y'all commissioners. I believe your town ordinance speaks to that.
This commissioner is in charge of it.
It don't make no difference. I know what the bottom line. The thing is, why is the sheriff person, other than the commissioners talk about it?
Well, they've never come to.
But who's on the committee?
Michael, and there's, I can't.
Michael, that's your son. Go ahead.
Yes, and there's I'm sorry, I
That's
didn't
like
think of the
this
matter.
couple here, they married. I don't know how she gonna supervise him, but go ahead.
How what?
And I can address that because I've had, since I was elected mayor, I've had numerous people have talked about the Christmas parade and they want to be on the committee and
Nobody's came and filled out an application.
but.
We'd welcome anybody that wants to be on it.
And the thing about it is, I think right now, a lot of them, they feel like it's too late, but next year is something we can plan towards.
That'd be
They can
great.
pull- They can pull the board application off the website, it's up there all
Yeah, right,
the
cause-
time.
Yeah,
Tracy-
And we welcome anybody.
Yeah, Tracy knows that there's several people that want to be on it, but they feel like, well, it's too late now. We got the Christmas parade is the 17th.
Right,
They feel like there's nothing they can do right now. So,
right.
Well,
But I welcome them.
I guarantee you will have a bigger committee
I welcome them, sir.
for next year. So,
Yeah.
That's gonna be, and you'll have some help, okay? I promise you that.
Thank you.
But who made the decision to not have the horse? If you got a problem with one horse, why punish everybody else? Why not just say, look, get that individual and say, you can't have that horse.
Well, it wasn't really just that one horse. There were a lot of
Hold
them
up.
that
I
are not
work-
cleaning
I
behind
worked-
them.
I worked the Christmas parade, okay? I saw clean. Alright, so why if everybody, what you gonna mass punishment for? That don't make no sense.
Why did you do it and recommend it for the ones that were, using the wheelies and doing things like that?
Well, cause y'all insured for the parade. The police didn't know.
Well, I'm saying that same group made that decision for that also based on recommendation.
Who's all on the group though? You never finished saying who's all on the group.
I can't give everybody's name, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Cause they
I have
ain't
to
one.
look
I'm
at
telling you
this.
right now, they ain't one. Commission making the decision.
Well, I was under the understanding that we don't have a Christmas committee. We have a Parks and Rec, and if they want to join Parks and Rec, they're welcome to it.
There was normally a Christmas committee.
It's
We've
the
always
Parks
had-
and Rec
That-
committee.
No,
they-
but we
Those
have
are
had,
Parks and Rec.
we have had Christmas committees.
Yeah, we had one last year.
I know we did.
There was two of them, two people just, they kind of resigned and quit and didn't, I guess they felt like they didn't have time to do it anymore.
And we had several that will sign up but won't come to the meetings.
I mean, it's just, it's hard to get people to commit, you know.
Maybe the commissioners ought to take over the Christmas parade.
What was that comment? What was
I
that
said
comment?
maybe the commissioners need to take over the parade.
Excuse me, I was on the committee, but I never heard anything from it anymore, so I don't know.
We send out emails.
I don't get anything. I used to get a phone call, I don't get none of it no more.
And what's your name?
So,
I mean, know you like, I call you black.
Will you see me afterwards?
what happened to, your son?
Shake your head.
He's still on there.
See, he used to be the one calling me, but I don't hear nobody anymore,
Okay.
so I don't know what's going
If
on.
you miss more than, what is it, I think 3 meetings, it's either 2 or 3 meetings, you know, and that's maybe something when we get a committee that we can, you know, address as a committee, they are removed from it.
But you got to be notified to be removed.
Yeah, and those letters were sent out.
I haven't got anything from nobody, or a phone call, so I don't know what's going on with it.
When I was on the committee, and I was on the Parks and Rec. When you get on the committee, can you still be in the parade? Because I was on the committee. Does that illegal? If you on the committee,
You can be on the
still be in
parade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
could be in the parade, yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I think going forth, based on what we're hearing here now about the Christmas committee and doing different things in our city here, as commissioners, I guess what we need to do is to continue to talk about it, if it's every 3 months or whatever, until we can keep pounding to get the citizens involved, where we will have a Christmas committee. And then if it be where at least we would made an attempt to try to get volunteers to do it. And when such happens, we will have something to say. We tried every 3 months, every quarter, we tried to get people to do this. Now, Christmas is, the parade is next week. It's too late. So,
But
we,
David, we have done that.
right. and-
We have solicited
Right.
and asked people, you know, to be in it.
Yeah, I would love
But
to
people
have the
don't
help.
want to. I
Believe me,
mean,
I would love to have the help.
I've seen times when we
they
went out.
don't, they want to
and-
be on the committee, but they don't want to help.
Right.
And many times it's not because they necessarily, that's their intent, but their work schedule, their kids' things at school, you know, things get in the way. And I welcome anybody that wants to be on the, you know, on the committee.
I think now that we put it out there, and the one that is here now will know next year when we are gonna plan, if we do have a Christmas parade, they will know. And I have known for, in the past, we had one young lady that we paid her to get the parade together.
Yeah.
So that's how, you know, and she got up a form of people, and they made it happen. So going forth, I guess, Ms. Davis, since that is your department, it'll probably be where we can talk about it, our retreat or whatever, see where we are, and make sure that we do something to get the citizens involved. And if they don't
You know,
want
I
to
would
get
even like
involved,
to
then,
see the commissioners, you know, recommend people.
right.
You know, everybody make an effort to, you know, try to include everybody.
But anyway, that's what I see that probably needs to happen, and not just the Christmas parade, it's other things that happen within our little town here, and, we just don't have the people to make it happen. We can, it's communication, that's what we gotta get better with our communication. And make sure that we, try to pull together here as a community and try to make things happen. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Ma'am?
Here recently this year, I've used my food cart more than I ever used it since I had it. Going to little small towns during these festivals, what a great time we have. And I wonder how in the world do they pull something like this together? I just left one, the Whirligig in Wilson. If those people didn't have their stuff together, and they told me, said 5 o'clock you got to shut it down, I had over 25 to 30 people in my line waiting to get a funnel cake. And they told me, you got to shut it down at 5 o'clock because this was a small number. They said, after 5 o'clock, we got to move out of this, off the street, over 20,000 people. So imagine how many were there before. They said right at 5 o'clock, they got to move 20,000 people off the street so they can start cleaning up. Little Elm City do the same thing. We got to get on board and start to having some here in Sharpsburg. We can do it, but we can't do it by ourselves. It's got to be a team effort thing where we can look for each year. We had one scheduled, but the rain rained us out. We had one scheduled, but there wasn't enough time to do what we need to do. So we as commissioners and citizens, we need to start working together and make something happen here in Sharpsburg and quit. I mean, the negative stuff, we can handle that. But positive stuff that need to come out of our town, we need to get better at it.
She wants, I think that she probably want, I know she wants to get involved.
Say all of that. But I hear, my question, I just want to have an understanding, because in the past almost 3 years, I've only missed one meeting, and that was because I got the days mixed up, like this time, like instead of 2 meetings a week. In the meetings, I don't recall, now I heard you say the people that are on the committees already, you phone them or you send them
An email.
an email. Okay, but
And
so you
sometimes
don't
they call them.
But in your minutes, your meetings and all, and like I said, I've been to all but one, I've never heard anybody say anything about getting volunteers for that. So,
Getting volunteers for
for
what?
like your committee for I never knew you had a committee for, because I never.
We don't
heard
have
of
a
it.
separate committee for the,
Okay.
I think someone said that they used to, but there's not a separate committee.
But you don't address it, or you haven't addressed it in any of your meetings, like if maybe that was gonna come up and that you would need something like that, because I take notes, real good notes. And like
I
I said,
haven't
I've
seen you
been
at a meeting for some time.
that's because you haven't been here. I haven't only missed one. But what I'm trying to
A
say, and
town-
all of that's
A
beside the point.
parks meeting,
What?
not here.
Well, again, I'm to this meeting, I don't know about all your other meetings. But what I'm trying to say, I haven't heard that conversation, that subject come up in all the meetings. So maybe, you know, when it's getting close to time, something like this, if you were interjected maybe in some of your, maybe have an announcement or something that's coming up that someone would know. Or
We
someone
have
could
put
spread
it on the electric bill and announced it also, but that's a good suggestion.
Right,
We
you
can
know
do
a lot of
that.
people, and sometimes I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I see what my bill is.
Right.
Say hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, and what in the world?
Yeah.
And then I forget about everything else. And I'm not trying to be funny, but you know, that's just what it is. But you know, it's like, you know, Commissioner Price said, it's too much negativity going on. We've got to come together. It's too much strife and stuff going on. We've got to come together. And there's no better place to start than here and now.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, what's in the past is gone, but we need to do better about what's going on here in Sharpsburg. Truly, like I say, I'm at the meetings and I know that I would have heard it if I'd been here. I don't, and if, so there are other meetings that you might have, if I get on the schedule, I'll make sure to some of them too.
Okay.
Okay, Ryan, you got some more?
No, that's it, Mayor.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Moving on, petitions and communications. Is anybody signed up? Cheryl O'Neal, you're up first
Okay.
and only one.
Okay. First, I would like to say good evening, and I would like to thank the board for giving me the opportunity to get up here and speak before them, okay? And, just sitting here listening to the meetings, to the meeting, and we would, Commissioner Pryor was addressing, the community coming together with the town. I wanna just, make a comment on that. We're always speaking on division in this country. The division is not only in this country, it is here in this town. The railroad track does not make the division of this town. It's the citizens. And I wanted to just bring that up. That was just one point that I wanted to bring up. Okay, and, I just want to bring up that, the polices, we haven't seen any polices in this area policing lately. And, if you all could just let us know, let the citizens know what's been going on with the police department, or why we haven't been seeing polices. The only one that I have been seeing is, Redis. So is there some reason that we haven't seen any other officers in the area, police in the area?
There should be no reason, there should be patrolling just like normal. I mean, we're having a staff problem right now because we're short. We've been trying to hire, police officers, but they should be patrolling, so I've already made me a note that, you should be seeing all the officers.
Okay, did the staff just get short because?
It's
there
been getting
was
short
other
over a
officers.
period of time. We've just interviewed for a police chief's position, and we're 2 officers short, that we're trying to get 1 through trainings and standards now, so.
Okay, were there officers that was resigning or?
Yes, leave.
That was
Yeah.
terminated?
Yeah, correct, both.
Okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and another concern that I had was, the staffing. And I don't want anyone to feel like I'm just stepping on their feet, but I feel like, you all have, this is to the board. And I feel like the decisions that the board has been making has been some poor decisions when it comes to the staffing of the town. You all have placed people in, positions that doesn't even have degrees. And I think that would require degrees. And I think that is poor decisions on this board. And a lot of times when I am out, I have had people come up to me and they have asked me, said, have you all settled the things that's going on in Sharpsburg? And it is so embarrassing that every time you go somewhere, people are asking you about this town board or what's going on in Sharpsburg. We have even had a judge to ask us, have you all set up the things that you all have going on in Sharpsburg? I mean, we are the laughing stock of everywhere we go because of the decisions that's been made by this board. And I feel like when the board make decisions, these decisions should be made on consideration for all citizens. Not just for the board, but what's gonna help all citizens in this town. Another thing, in the last probably couple of years, this board has fired several people of color. And I have a concern about that because all the people that this board has terminated, only one person that has been working still remains. So I'm wondering why, out of all these people of color that you all have terminated, why you only have one person that's remaining and holding a position when all of these people were working together. Another concern that I have, a few years ago, Tracy, this may be a question for you. A few years ago, me and my mother came into your office. We requested records, my father's personal records, that we never received.
They were never.
Wait a minute, can I finish, please? You told us that the records was up in the attic and that you would get the records. We waited, because we never received them, we waited 1 year. 1 year later, came back and asked for the records again. We were told that my father's records were destroyed from this town. My father being here just about all his life. Why was his records all of a sudden destroyed when you once told us that they were here? We never received them. My mother received a printout, a history of their account, and she was charged $12 for a history when we requested his personal records from the town. So can you let us know why we never received his records?
So you're saying your father was here his whole life, so his records will stand back.
Yes,
way past
ma'am.
my
You know
birth
how
date.
long my
Right.
father was here in this town.
So I can't control anything past the time that I started working with the town, up until a certain point. That being said, I said if they were up in the attic, I would make sure that you
No,
received
you
it.
said they were up in the attic.
I said they could be up in the attic.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Of course, I don't know what all was up in the attic because a lot of stuff is up there.
Mhm.
I sent the guys up there to take a look and see if they could find something. They could not find anything with your father's name on it. That's beyond my control. I'm
Well, what
sorry that it
possibly
wasn't up
happened
there.
to his records?
I have no idea. I didn't destroy any of your father's records if that's what you're insinuating.
No, I'm not insinuating
Okay.
anything. I'm
So-
asking you a question
It had to have
based on
predated my
what you
time.
told us.
It had to have predated my time. I don't know what happened to anything past what I was able to provide you, which was
Say that again.
2001.
Wait a minute, I didn't catch that. Say that again.
What I was able to provide you was what was downstairs. I said I could not tell you what happened that predated when I started working here.
But you've been here for years.
I have been here for
Tracy, you was
years,
here when I was on the board.
but I can't recreate records that never existed. Did your father fill out a utility application when he made?
I'm quite sure that he did.
No, they didn't even have
And
a
any
utility
other,
application.
any other activities that went on in his account should have been in his file.
The only thing that they had when I first came here was an index card. An index card, a 3x5 index card with people's names on it, and if they paid a $20 utility deposit.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize that I could not put my hands on that, but that's the only thing that I could not find. Everything from 2000, and we're only required by law to keep things a certain amount of time. If you can look at the archives records.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize that could not be furnished to you, but those records cannot be recreated.
And let me see what else I may have here. Oh, and I have a question for the whole board. You all appointed Tracy as the interim town correct?
Town administrator.
Town administrator, am I correct? Does that position require a degree?
It does not require one. It is a combination of experience and education.
Okay, I would like to see the personnel file. Can I get a copy of the
Personnel
personnel
policy?
policy?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to receive a copy of the personnel policy. Because I would think,
And the board has the discretion to, am I right on that, Vernon?
Yes, board has discretion as far as the criteria for a position, particularly if you're talking about an interim position.
mhm.
But every time the board hires for a position, it can set the criteria for what it's looking for in that position.
Oh, so you all decide to set the criteria for what you wanted it to be at that particular time. See, that's what it seems, that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like.
As well.
Okay. Okay, well, right now, that's all the, comments that I have, that's the questions that I have. I'm not satisfied with some of the answers that I received, but I have to go along with what was said because, you know, that's the answers that I received tonight. And I thank you for allowing me to come before you with my concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Mhm.
It's heartfelt and touching, and I understand where you're coming from.
Could I say something, please?
Yes, sir.
What she just said there, she elaborated on the comment that I made about us coming together. If I may share this with you all, it was Thursday before last. I think it was Thursday before last. Anyway, when the new event center opened up in Rocky Mount, they had a lot of the investors. It was a great ceremony before they actually went into the concert that they had. And some of you probably know this guy. Matter of fact, he was the one that got up and spoke, a friend of mine. He's a chaplain for Rocky Mount Police Department. I forget his name. He's a minister. His church is right there on 301. He did the ceremony that we had for Wayne Hathaway. Do you all remember that guy?
Yeah, I know. I know.
He's a chaplain for the police department, right?
He's one of the police chaplains.
Yeah, but anyway, he got up and he's such a nice guy. He was speaking, and something he said that hit home, and we're dealing with the same thing that he said. He made a comment about he saw some people when he came in. He saw some bald head people. He saw some people with hair. He saw some fat people. He saw some skinny people. He saw some black people. He saw white people. He saw Hispanic people. He saw short people. He saw tall people. In other words, he was saying everybody that he saw was living creatures. And he was right. And he said some of you that's inside this building here tonight was for this event center. Some of you were against it. And he, over the years, he always heard, and Rocky Mount is just like Sharpsburg.
Reverend Kendrick.
Yeah, that's his name. There's a railroad track that runs right in the middle of town, which separates Edgecombe County and Nash County. You know how he addressed that railroad track? He addressed that railroad track, if you start looking at the railroad track as not being a division, as being a zipper that pulled things together. So that's what we need to look at Sharpsburg the same way. I said, my next meeting that I go to, when we hear about Wilson County, Edgecombe County, and Wilson County with the railroad track, what happened on this side of the track, what happened on this side of the track, let's all look at it as it being a zipper to pull us together. I'm sorry if I held this up for the meeting. There's been some comment about I talk too much when I do talk. When I got something on my mind, I got to get it out. So that's why I told you what I just told you. And I'm saying stuff in a positive way where I'm hoping that it pull us together.
Yeah, it's not the railroad track. It's the people that's making the decision.
So that's the way we need to look at it from now on, that railroad track. And we already have issues with the railroad track, with the train stopping, blocking everything. So there ain't no way we can forget it now to say that. Let's look at it as a zipper. We got a great big zipper that's going to pull us together. That's all I
And it's
have.
gonna take both sides working together.
Right,
Not this side working by themselves, this side working by themselves. We got to bring it together.
exactly. When you miss a notch in the zipper, it won't pull together with it. You're gonna try to mend it together. You keep pulling all you want to, it's gonna open right back up.
Well, when is this board gonna close that zipper up and come together with the citizens?
And after all, this is called Tri-County Hospitality. And I'm just saying that when he spoke about the policemen, what I want to know, are the police officers, like my sister said, they don't be routing like they should be? What I want to know, because I'm getting older, are they prohibited from seeing an old lady and they know she could use a little lift to get over here or whatever? They're not supposed to do that. You know, what I want to know, is it going to harm? Is it like, if she got on, if the officer said, ma'am, do you need a ride across the street? You know, I mean, because I pushed this, I said, I ain't got no car, but I see you to the town hall. She got here, blood pressure up, she rested. But I'm just saying, are they prohibited from, you know, taking a person on their car? Because I guess if they get hurt, then they're to blame and maybe the town has to pay. And that's what I want to know. So I just hope that we can all, you know, God said he'll heal the land, if we just pray.
Can I elaborate on that for 1 second? A couple of weeks ago, I was looking at the Steve Harvey show, and I don't know how many people saw it, but there was a sheriff in Nash County, and a black lady was walking to work all hours of the night. For years, 6 hours there and 6 hours back. He took it upon himself to give her a ride to work. And when I was looking at that television and I saw Nash County, Nashville, North Carolina, I couldn't believe it. Because who would think that Nashville would be on Steve Harvey's show?
But Cheryl, that's called community policing and police officers.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So what happened? He gave her $5,000 and also called the Capitol Ford, and they gave her a 2018 car to go back and forth to work. The sheriff also, I think he was a lieutenant, he also told his officers,
He gave her a bicycle.
he gave her a bicycle first, but he also told his officers that when they saw her walking, to pick her up. And that's what we call kindness and being together, concerned. That is, Sharpsburg does not have it.
Well, so you can't expect them to have it. You ain't got no 3 officers in this town working 24 hours. So you ain't getting the service you're paying for. Look, I got this last question. I'm gonna sit down. Mr. Pryor, and to the mayor. Now you talking about y'all that comment. I'm picking back off what you just said. Just come together and try to bridge whatever. Do these members, other than y'all two, let you know what's going on in town? Did they call you? Did they let you know on anything going on in this town the right way? I know several times they haven't on water and sewer. You haven't been notified. The decision already been made. But they sit here talking about, you know, they work together and whatever. That's a lie. But that's what I'm calling it. But I'm sitting down, but it's just like when President Obama got in office. And the Senate or the House, I can't think of the man's name, but he's from out of Kentucky.
So you want to work with him?
That's right. We're putting up roadblocks, we ain't gonna work with them. That's what I see on this board right here.
That's right. That's right.
No due respect.
Number 8, consent agenda and regular. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
All in favor?
Maybe you need a second.
Second. Is there a
I second it.
Commissioner Humphrey always second it, so. I didn't hear that.
I did.
You second it? All right. All in favor? All in favor? So So it is. And so, moving on to new business. What's the pleasure of the board on this A, B, and C of the new business?
I would like to do some discussion on C if I could, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
On,
You have to, he's gonna have to make a motion on each item.
Right.
We're gonna do A first.
yeah,
All right. What's the pleasure of the board on A? Consideration by the board to adopt the resolution designated of the applicant's agent, the disaster number. This was in reference to Matthew, the last hurricane we had.
I'm sorry.
Florence,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
where officers and everybody had to stay up until it was actually called off. But I think water and sewer were out and everybody was out. Pay that. So what's the pleasure of the board on A? So moved. We got a second.
I second.
Or a second. Everybody, all in favor? All in favor? So moved. Is it passed? On B, consideration of the board to adopt a resolution for R 2018-09 authorizing the execution of one or more gas supply contracts with the Public Injury Authority of Kentucky. Pete, that's when we had Kevin O'Donnell came in last meeting. This is what this is reference to. What's the pleasure of the board on that?
So moved.
So we got a second. Second by Commissioner Collins. All in favor? All right, all in favor. Now, on C, discussion of the board in reference to the support of the town's local businesses before purchasing from out of town if such services and products available from local sources. What's the pleasure of the board on C?
I'd like to comment on that one if I could, please. I'd like to get some clarification on what we're talking about as far as supporting the local town, which that's a good idea to do that because the way I look at it is we got these people here that's in town paying the utility bill, they're paying the taxes and all, and if we can keep the money in-house, that'd be a great thing to do, but I would like to know what are some of the business that we're talking about that we're using now within the city.
Speedway, Taylor's Wrecker, Imaging Specialties, CarQuest.
Excellent.
That's the
Well, it's outside of town.
that's the place over here.
Yes, right here on the corner.
We got the
Exxon, we do use Exxon sometimes, with all the gas stations.
Yeah,
Here, we use all of those,
yeah, we don't purchase any gas out of town or nothing like that.
unless we're on a business trip of
Yeah.
some sort. Don't think of any more that they're available here in town that we have to.
Well, I mean, you got, of course, we need, building supplies or something like that, we
We
have
have to
to
go
go.
out of town.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about in town. I think those are the vendors that we mostly use because that's all the
Yeah,
things that we need to operate the town.
So we're mostly talking about the gas and stuff to that nature.
Gas, office supplies.
Are we working with this guy? Cause I know one year, I don't know the name of the place right here, I mean, it's embarrassing not to even know what the name of this business is
It's
right here.
Imaging Specialties. It's Durwood.
He was very concerned when he first opened up because we weren't doing business with him. He came in one of these meetings, he let it be well known that, he could supply us with the same thing that Office Depot, Office Max, are we using this guy now?
We use him
Oh,
for
yeah.
almost everything. We very seldom go outside unless it's something they can't get or their price is not competitive with what we could get from Office Depot or Staples.
yeah.
All right, that's all I wanted to know. I just wanted to verify what type of business were we talking about, for us.
What are we using Taylor Record Service for? Got one.
The police department utilizes them to tow cars. The public comment section is.
That's up to the mayor.
Don't
You can sit me down. May I speak, sir?
Go ahead.
Well, from my experience, and I'm gonna tell you why this came up, why you want to use local, which I was doing. But Mr. Joe over here was so daggone high, I was going to Walmart, sent an officer to Walmart twice. The credit card bounced, didn't go through. I was sitting there with some stuff or maintenance before I can take the teller for them, be cheaper, trying to save y'all money, town money, taxes. That's right. And, but I get shooed up. I get shooed up. Cause the credit card bounced. Didn't go through. Oh, I get shooed up. But then they wanted to say, no, they sent a memo out. You drove from now on. You can't go out of town. Because there was an error on them not paying the credit card like they're supposed to.
All right. Now, back to my question in reference to Taylor Record Service. Why, if we're using rotation, as I was told in the last meeting, then we're not using anybody outside of Sharpsburg if we're using rotation. Right?
It's a list more like rotation. It's a list. They always go to the top of the list. They're not able to get that person to go to the next one.
Well, I always end up on tell.
Commissioner Collins, I started policing in 1985. I am very diverse and I understand rotation, what rotation is. A few years ago, when I came to Rocky Mount PD, there was a list of state troopers who got in trouble by calling one particular record service. And right now, that one particular state trooper is the chief ABC officer for Nash County. And that's the reason why he's the chief ABC officer. He's not a state trooper anymore. But anyway, you can't tell me that when those officers stop a car, that they saying Central, send me rotation record. And then Taylor shows up every time. So you can't tell me this, because you know what? You're gonna be able to tell me that I walk outside and the sun's up right now and I'm gonna believe it. Because I can see it's not. Okay? So I understand using local services, but as I told the lieutenant in the last meeting, and I calculated all the vehicles that were towed that month, that Taylor's record service, he charges you $125 to hook up to that car. And he made an average of almost $6,500 the month. And that's just towing the cars. That's not counting his storage fee. So we are actually, we're his profit.
Yeah. Always have.
And if you want to see, if any citizen wants to see that list of cars that were towed for the last month, and how many cars were towed at $125 a pop, as I was told that we burned up 301. Yeah, you burned up 301, but you also filled in his pocket at $125 a pop. So, are you telling me that's right? Because we're basically funding his business, because I know he ain't getting that much business working on cars. Okay? So when we do rotation, we need to call, when an officer says, Central, send me the next rotation record. Call somebody else. That's what they need to do. If that record can't come, then Central will also, they will let you know that we send the next one. Cause Blake tried to pull this one over on me too, when he told me that with the rotation records, we had two guys that put their name on there, but then nobody ever came back with the applications. So that who else did that leave? Taylor. So thing about it is, you know, I was born at night, but not last night. And the thing about it is, don't tell me stuff that I know. And since 1985, I policed, and I know. I mean, I've been from Alabama to El Paso, Texas. From El Paso, Texas to Germany, and from Germany to the sands of Iraq and Kuwait and everywhere else, and I know good and well that we ain't been using no rotation.
That's right.
I know it too.
Everybody knows.
Chief, you can help me out with this one. Remember our list, you started a list.
I ain't got nothing.
Okay, all right, okay, well, that's fine, that's fine. The rotation is used by the county or state troopers, but nothing says we have to use rotation. We can set who we want to use as record service.
So why
If we have a list.
So why
There are
was
three
I
other
being
ways.
told that we're using rotation?
I don't know about rotation.
Why was I being told that?
We have a list, I don't know why, but we have a list that we go by, we don't have a rotation. We have to go, Nash County does not keep up with a rotation of just Sharpsburg's record list. They do with the sheriff's department and they do with the highway patrol, especially with highway patrol, because so many people are fighting for that business. But we're allowed to use people in our team.
Of course we're allowed, but
That's right.
why was I being told for the longest that we use rotation record when we don't actually use rotation record?
Look, here's the thing. When I first came here at Nash, I tried to use a rotation. They called me by phone and said, look, y'all don't have a rotation. Okay? So I had to start calling, and then I had to send them a list. So the rotation won't be involved. The officer did, I had the whole one putting hints in this sergeant or patrol, get this thing straight. But that's what they were doing. Here's the other problem. You don't have to have an application. Okay? Now unless the town Pacific want one. But you get there's supposed to be 3 or 4 rotation anytime and some other within 15-mile radius. So that right there, what he was saying, a bunch of buckets.
No, that's what I've been told.
You'll be all right.
Well, Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
if you are the commissioner over the police department,
Yes.
you didn't know about the rotation?
I'm just the list. We go to Mike Taylor because he lives, he works his business here in town, and we just go to him first. Yes.
I was working at a service station years ago, okay? The highway patrol and police is when they call people out. They don't care what county you stay in or what. Okay, what they does is they'll call 911, dispatch. Okay, send me the next person that's in line. When that person don't get there on time, they say send me another record. Alright? Okay, when they come into a town, you can stay, John Doe could stay in Rocky Mountain, how their business, John Doe could stay in Wilson. They don't care where that place is. They're not gonna use the same person in that county because their business is in that county. They're gonna call the person that's next in line. Okay, that's a bunch of BS calling the person that live right here in this town because it's a money racketeer. It's in hoops for somebody to just help the other person out.
Can I ask you a question? What is the standard towing fee from when the police called to go pick up a car?
I don't know if that's even set by the state, and I don't know if that's even set by the state.
Because it seems like me, depending on what it is, they can charge basically anything they want. It seems like me, you're gonna put a charge, it seems like some shit within the area, it should be the same fee. Why is higher for one person and cheaper for another? That's what I want to know. You should know that, shouldn't you?
No, I don't know record fees, I do not.
It's not regulated by the town.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's even regulated by the state.
No, it's regulated by the company that owns the tour. They charge you whatever.
We don't have
The reason why I said that, cause I was charged $250 for a tow one day, and somebody else was $100 or something. I'm trying to think of why mine was so much more.
Was it storage maybe? I don't know.
It won't store.
Okay.
No. Okay, let me help you out on that. What they got, like if they come out at night, they automatically got a set rate for them to call their truck out at night. If you look into the fine print,
Daytime.
they charge you $45 just to crank that truck up at night. That's not even coming to pull your vehicle. That $45 is just for them to crank that truck up. In the daytime, then some of them may not have that rate to charge you in the daytime, but if it's at night, they got a $45 minimum. Some of them got it up to $65.
And then it might also be mileage.
Mhm.
And, you know, depends on where you're towing it to and from. But, you know, they're gonna make their money and some if they see they can get, they gonna, cause, you know, you're basically at the mercy of that record service.
Well, see, like to me, if they're gonna do it, they should help feed, telling you exactly why you putting it, how much you bill it. Not after when you go to get the car and all of a sudden, wait a minute, I gotta pay this bill, and I ain't know nothing about it till after the fact. It should be a standard fee, it should go back before you get it and everything.
No, I'll tell you another one you can check. Coaster. Coaster will tell you before, when you pick up the phone and call them, they say, look, if I start my truck and rock, and you decide not to call me back when my man get there, you owe me $45.
But they
For
should tell the
sending
person
them out.
out there before they get it. Not 2 or 3 weeks later, a month later, they can tell you everything they want to.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Discussion in reference to, letter C. What's the pleasure of the board on that?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Been approved. The next one's, get a motion to go into closed session, Western personnel matter.
So moved.
So moved, is it second?
Second.
Been second. All in favor? We're now going into closed session in reference to personnel matters.
Madam, Mayor, if I could,
Go ahead.
I know we're going into closed session, I know you already go, but, we have some discussion here tonight, and there's been a lot of issues that have came up, and a lot of them was directed for us 5 commissioners here, so, we got our work cut out for us, and citizens, you all have your work cut out for you all also. Here's what I would ask of all of you that's here tonight. I appreciate all of you coming in here. We had tonight more people, participants than we had in a long time. We're discussing stuff, there's been some negative stuff said, there's been some positive stuff said. As a commissioner here, me speaking myself, and I always said, if you went to a gathering here years ago, I always would say, when I had the opportunity to speak, that I wanted to have it where citizens and other people that didn't live here in Sharpsburg wanted to come here and live because they saw what a great thing that we were doing here in Sharpsburg. But it seemed like the stuff that I was praying for like that, it has been the opposite. The opposite. So here's what I'm asking of all of you all, and the board too. Let's do what I said earlier. Use the railroad track as a zipper. Whether it's the railroad track or the highway or whatever. Let's all come together. We don't want to hear this. We all are living creatures. We are brothers and sisters. God made us all. Let's start working together to make our community be a great community. Because we keep on having division. There's 2 big, large cities, and one of them is on the rise and constantly doing stuff, is Rocky Mountain. By God, I've been here all my life. I would hate to see a town like that come in and govern us and tell us what we can do if we don't continue to have this board here where if we get out of wanting to be part of town elected officials, who else? It's only about 10 of us that always running on the board. We don't have any newcomers that's coming in here. So when we get tired of it and get frustrated of it, what's going to happen? Rocky Mountain or Wilson going to step in. I've got some documents. I sit on the board in Rocky Mountain on the I think it's TAC board. And those people, believe it or not, they have plans. We sit down and make plans as long as 20 years. Mr. Proctor used to say, he joked about what's going to happen. Him and I both will be dead. But Rocky Mountain already know that they're going to bring a bicycle trail here in Sharpsburg. The state going to go out there and open up Railroad Street to carry it all the way down to Quarry Road, Rock Quarry Road. They already have some interest in Sharpsburg. You know, we as the citizens here, a lot of us have been here all our lives. Do we want that to happen? No, I don't want it to happen. And I have mentioned to some of the people and some of the board members, if the Lord bless me to where I can get enough money to move out of Sharpsburg, I'm gone. I'm leaving. It's too much mess going on here. We need to come together and just try to fix this problem. We can fix it. There's no reason why we should be bickering because of the mayor change, and when he changed, something else gonna change. We shouldn't do that. When Randy left the seat, it should have been the baton passed to him and said, Bro Williams, here you go, take it over. If you need my help, call me. Same thing should happen with us commissioners. There's a big election gonna come up next year in 2019. My seat gonna be available, her seat gonna be available, and her seat gonna be available.
And it's our job to get them off the board. Amen.
Go, Lord.
So what I'm saying to you all is, let's work together. Let's work together. Let's make Sharpsburg a town that we can be proud of instead of being embarrassed. Every time I go somewhere, and I tell them where I'm from, they always talking about the negative stuff of Sharpsburg. That's embarrassing to me. And what she said right there about a judge, she was in that courtroom with me that day with my son. And the judge come out of the chamber. I think I told y'all about that, didn't I? Judge put it up, his roll as soon as the court was over, hurry up and rushed down, pulled his roll out, and set it on his chair, and rushed out there and got to me and said, Commissioner, Mr. Pryor, I reward you for what you're doing in Sharpsburg. I got a story to tell you about Sharpsburg. And he started talking about he was in a meeting somewhere in Wilson County, and some lady stood up and said, well, I hope long as we can get this thing together, long as we can get together, and don't be like Sharpsburg. That was so embarrassing to me. Tracy, you say you ain't even heard that. We don't need that, people. Let's try to get on board and work together. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, we're going into closed session, so we won't be here all night.
I got one thing for y'all. I know y'all getting ready to, but I just want y'all to pull it up so when we come back to the next meeting, that there's something that's supposed to have been already done about the ditch, that I already signed the paper, been the deal, and my lawyer email.
Well, okay, well, so what you can do is tomorrow or next week, come back and talk to Mr. Bryan, and he'll square you away on that, all right? Okay. All right.
I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be
All right, very close.
Anybody got problems with two officers, Officer William Bruce Jr., Sergeant, and Bobby Knight, I can help you get out whatever it takes.
All right.
All right, we're in closed session now.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not from Sharpsburg, but I spend a lot of time down here because I get a lot of calls with the Rocky Mountain NAACP. But as y'all was speaking on the towing thing, I've called for towing. I have understood that the people have been told that they could not request their own towing service. So when y'all have that discussion, y'all need to include that, because there's no reason why you can't ask for your own towing. I don't care if you have got rotation. So I just want to interject that. Thank you.